Hi guys, it's Friday. Hooray, it's Friday. Don't you love Fridays? I do. Um yeah, so what I wanted to speak about today is reading the Bible, because sometimes it's really hard, isn't it? You know, over the years I've really struggled with it. Sometimes I've just like stopped doing it because I don't know how to, and I just think, what am I going to pick some random bit out of the Bible? And sometimes, I would do that and I would read it and then I'd be like, well, actually, what does it even mean? So I am so excited to share with you another way of reading the Bible that is, well, I have found at least to be so practical and so helpful. I'm going to try and keep this video to 10 minutes. Let's see if I'm capable of doing that. So I can't take the credit for this. My mum and dad had found out about this thing. It's called Precept Ministries. And I think it's probably, did it start in the States? I think it might have done. They were actually over there visiting my sister, and I think that's when they'd first had heard about it. But there's also Precept Ministries UK. So there's loads of resources and things that you can get in the UK as well. And it's such a simple idea, but I've just found it to be amazing. The general idea is almost like the Bible explaining itself is ultimately what it is. My mum and dad have done like a little training course, whatever, so they'd kind of showed me some of the stuff. So you don't have to do the training course. I'm sure you can do it and get into more depth, but you can actually do it. I've just been doing it myself over these past few days, and yeah, it's been great. So just to explain, I will show you this. There are lots of online resources. So go to Precept Ministries UK, and they have a lot of stuff that you can just like print off. They're called lightning studies, like this, and they are different parts of the Bible, different topics. You can just print them off for free. So if you want to get going, start with this and see how you got on, then do that. This one, which my dad had given me actually, is Psalm 23. So you have the actual, the bit of the actual Bible reading here. So you have it on the thing, which is what we're looking at. So, how many times I've read Psalm 23, heard Psalm 23 so many times. It's often the one that's spoken about at funerals and stuff. So you're like, yeah, the Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. And it's kind of like, yeah, you know it. But from doing this, I have picked out so many new things as well. The general idea is they'll give you, and if you're like me and you love, like I love scribbling I like writing on my Bible, I like visual sort of things, then you'll love this. So it'll give you instructions as to what to do. So for this one, it's asking you who are the main people mentioned. So it's the Lord God and the psalmist are the two main things mentioned. So there's questions that you answer as you go along, but then it'll say to you like this: read through the passage and mark the Lord, and like all the pronouns, like when it says he or you or, speaking about the Lord, mark it with a triangle. So I've done that. And then also when when it's speaking about the psalmist, the actual writer, so it's saying, like I, me, etc., circle that with a thing. So you do that. And I remember thinking, well, what's the benefit of that? So as you can see, I've followed the instructions here. I've done the triangles, I've done the circles, and then it'll say things like, look at all those things that you've done. What kind of relationship does he have with the Lord? And then you're like, you can see how close that relationship is somehow. Like it's a really practical, you're like, yeah, that's a really personal, close relationship they've got. And it says, where are the 6 settings? Underline the 6 settings. Where the Lord is my shepherd, what kind of places are they? And then what you realise are, they're good places, that's the green pastures and the quiet waters, and they're bad places, walking through the valley of the shadow of death. So in other words, the Lord is with us in every setting. And then, it's like put a box around verbs or action words. What does he actually do? So then you look at that and you're like, right, you pick out all the, I think that's the red that I have put boxes round. You know, he makes me lie down, he leads me, he restores me, he guides me, he is with me, he prepares a table for me, he anoints my head with oil. And you're like, yeah, that's amazing. And it says at the end, what's the conclusion the psalmist comes to? The conclusion is, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. You know, because God is with us in the good and the bad. So that's just a really, I'm 5 minutes already. That's just like a really super quick lightning study on Psalm 23. And I'm like, I've never thought so much about Psalm 23 before, and I got a lot out of it. So yeah, print off, and there's loads of these, like on their website, there's loads. You can print off lightning studies, and you could probably do that in, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe, or something like that. So that's one thing you can do. If you want to get more stuck in, I ordered some of these amazing books, and at the moment I'm working through this one, which is called Spiritual Warfare, Overcoming the Enemy. So in here is pretty much the same idea, right, as the thing. They've got the Bible readings down the sides, and it's the same idea in that you're marking, you know, when God is mentioned or when the devil is mentioned, which is like a little pitchfork. When Jesus is mentioned, you know, in these bits, and this is the crosses for Jesus, and you're kind of just scribbling on there. But it's something happens, like visually, it brings things out like never before. And also, it's not just that, you're answering questions, but you're basically using the Bible to answer the questions. So it's not someone else's ideas, it's not, it's just a very straightforward way of almost like, you know, getting something out of the text. And this one just has, this one here, it's become so clear to me, you know, and it's kind of like, what does the Bible say the devil is? Well, he's a liar, he's a deceiver, he's the father of lies, he's the accuser of the brethren, you know, there's all these things that he is. But then it's got, well, read Revelation, see how that goes. You know, and he is thrown down, he is powerless, and, you know, actually Jesus has already won the victory, as we know. You know, the devil might win some wars, but Jesus has won the entire battle. Or is it battle and wars? You know what I mean? So like this is, you can do these in small groups. This is split into 6 weeks, and like if you're doing it in a group, you can basically work through it together. It's meant to take, it says it takes 40 minutes to do one of the studies. So I've just been doing this on my own, but you can work through it with one other person, with a small group, or do it on your own as well. It's very clear what you have to do, the instructions. And like I only started it 2 days ago, and I've gone through 3 of the weeks. So I think I'll probably finish this in the next few days, just because I'm like so excited about it. I'm finding it such a revelation. It is just, stuff is just jumping out of the page. I'm like, yes, I never noticed that before. So there's that one. I've also got Rising to the Call of Leadership, which is still to be done. Discovering What the Future Holds. Key Principles of Biblical Fasting, right? So these are it's like this sort of 40-minute Bible studies things that you can get. But also on their website, you can go through each book of the Bible. Like there's so many different resources. So you can go through, you know, if you want to study Genesis and the creation, you can do that all the way through to Revelation. Like there's a lot of books to be had. I mean, I love books as it is. So I was quite restrained in buying, I think I bought 5. But then, not only that, they also have youth resources. So my dad, when we were up in Scotland the other week, had been showing the boys how to do it with this very thing, with the lightning study. So for the boys, I've bought, this one's called Resolve, In the World, Not of It. And it's exactly the same idea. It's probably just a bit more of a, you know, cooler, I don't know, setup. So there's that one, and also this one called Dirty Jobs, which is about serving people. So that's a couple of the youth ones. And not only that, the whole family can get involved. Because my mum bought this book for our little one, who's 5, I think she might have got this in the States, but you can also get the kids ones here as well. And this one is called Who Created It? So Jess has been working through this. She loves it, right? Because she loves an activity book anyway, and she loves a Bible book. So I will show you an example here. Like, you'll see it's actually the exact same idea as what we're doing on the adult ones. So this is like, you know, copying words out, you know, so say, and she knows this verse now. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, like, because you kind of do each day and you build it up. So she's like, she knows that off by heart. And, you know, so who made the heavens? God made the heavens. And this one, so she's also doing this thing where you're like, every time God is mentioned, do the triangle and colour it in. She loves a bit of colouring in. And, you know, this one as well, who, you know, what does it say? Draw a blue oval around the word created. So what did God do? Well, he created, and then she can colour in again. So she loves that. So yeah, I think there's lots of kids ones too. So, oh, I'm at 11 minutes. I'm sorry, I just speak too much. But there's so much to say about this. It is very, very exciting. And I would say, if like me, you've struggled in the past and you want something that is just very practical, it explains what you're doing. You can choose which part you want to look at, which book of the Bible, which topic. And it's the Bible explaining itself, and you get to use some coloured pens, which is quite appealing to me too. So yeah, I hope this is helpful, and that you can just check out the website first. I'll put the info below and see how you got on. See you guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.